Have you ever felt like you wait and wait, and it seems like your prayers are lost in the wind? Before we continue, I want to ask you something. If you've ever waited for a miracle, if you've ever felt like your faith is faltering, stay until the end of this story. I promise it will touch your heart. And if you want to receive more stories of faith that strengthen your spirit, I invite you to subscribe right now. You have no idea how much a small act can bring goodness to your life. It all started in a small forgotten village nestled among the valleys, where winters were long and promises even longer. There lived Valeria, a young woman with a bright gaze, but with a heart tired of so many waits. Every morning, Valeria would kneel at the foot of her bed, clasp her trembling hands, and whisper the same prayer. Lord, don't forget me. I know you have perfect timing, but sometimes I feel like my faith is breaking. Meanwhile, life seemed to go on the same. Her father was ill, the family store was on the brink of bankruptcy, and the dreams, those dreams of studying, traveling, living, each day they seemed farther away. And though everything around her screamed, "Give up!" Valeria decided something different every day, to keep believing. That night, unbeknownst to her, the heavens began to move in visible pieces. God's clock, though she couldn't see it, was already ticking. Remember, have faith. Everything comes in its time. Esa noche, sin saberlo, el cielo comenzaba a mover países invisibles. El reloj de Dios, aunque ella no lo vea, ya estaba en marca. Recuerda, ten fe, todo liga a su tiempo. The next morning, Valeria woke up feeling something different in her chest. It wasn't that things had changed overnight. Her father was still sick, the problems were still there, the store was still empty of customers. But in her heart, there was a spark, a silent certainty. Today will be a good day, she told herself in front of the mirror, trying to smile at her own reflection. Without losing faith, Valeria went to open the store as she did every morning. She arranged the shelves, dusted off the counters, and waited. 1, 2, 3 hours passed without a single customer walking through the door. The minutes felt as heavy as stones. Where were the miracles? Where was the promise? It was then that the door made a soft cling sound. An elderly man with gray hair and a worn-out coat walked in. He looked tired, but his smile was so warm it lit up the entire store. "Good morning, miss," he said, tipping his hat respectfully. "Could you help me find some provisions?" Valeria, surprised by the presence of the first customer in days, nodded eagerly. But there was something else, something strange. This man didn't seem like an ordinary customer. There was a peace in his gaze, a serene goodness that wasn't seen every day. Who was this mysterious man? A simple traveler? Or perhaps someone sent by God? Don't go. What is about to happen will change Valeria's life. And perhaps yours too. Subscribe if you feel this story is already touching your heart. As Valeria helped the man, she noticed little details. His way of thanking for every gesture, his genuine interest in asking how she was, his smile that seemed to understand her silent struggles. After a while, the man went to pay. He took out a small wallet. But when he opened it, he realized he didn't have enough money. Just a few dusty coins. "I'm so sorry," he murmured, embarrassed. "I don't think I can afford all of this." Valeria felt her heart tighten. She was struggling too. She needed every penny. But something inside her, a soft but firm voice, whispered, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." With a sincere smile, she looked at the man and said, "Don't worry, sir. Consider this a gift." The elderly man looked at her, his eyes shining with emotion, as if he had been waiting for those words his whole life. "God bless you, daughter," he said in a broken whisper. "You don't know what you've done today." Valeria simply smiled, though inside, her mind was screaming, "How am I going to make up for this money?" But a strange peace enveloped her, as if an invisible hand was caressing her soul. Sometimes the smallest acts of faith are the ones that open the greatest doors of heaven. Has this ever happened to you? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to read your story. The elderly man left the store, leaving behind a strange feeling of warmth and hope. Valeria stayed for a few minutes in silence, as if time had stopped in that small moment of generosity. There was no money in the cash register. There was no solution to her immediate problems. But there was something more valuable. She had sown faith. That night, while praying by her father's bedside, Valeria didn't ask for anything. She didn't complain, she didn't question. She simply said, "Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to help, even though I am in need myself." What she didn't know, what none of us usually know when we sow love without expecting anything in return, is that heaven was already writing a response for her. Friend, listener, when you do good in silence, when you love unconditionally, when you give even though you have little, you are moving the invisible pieces of the miracle that God has for you. Don't go, because what was about to happen would make Valeria understand why every tear and every wait had been worth it. Remember to subscribe if the story is touching something in your heart. There are more blessings to come. The next morning, Valeria opened the store as usual. But something was different. The air smelled like hope. The sun seemed brighter. Her heart, though still without answers, was filled with faith. Suddenly, a luxurious car parked in front of the store. A well-dressed man, in an impeccable suit, got out of the car. He walked in with firm steps and a determined look. "Are you Valeria?" he asked kindly. She, surprised, nodded shyly. "Yesterday, my father passed by here," the man said. "He told me about a young woman who, despite her own difficulties, was able to give love without expecting anything in return." Valeria's eyes widened, recognizing the humble old man she had helped in his words. "You see," the man continued, "my father owns several stores and businesses in this region, and for some time, we've been looking for someone with true values, someone we can trust. We want to offer you the opportunity to manage a new store we're opening right here. Fair salary, stability, and if you accept, we will also make repairs to this store so it doesn't close." Valeria couldn't believe what she was hearing. Suddenly, all those prayers said through tears had a response bigger than she ever imagined. You see, when we sow faith, when we help without expecting anything, God ensures that we receive more than we ask for. With tears in her eyes, Valeria could hardly say a word. Everything she had prayed for, everything she had waited for with patience, was finally coming, and in a way she never could have imagined. She accepted the offer, not only thinking about herself but about her sick father, her community, and all the people she could help now that she had a real opportunity. The store began to thrive. New people arrived every week. It wasn't just a place to shop. It had become a place of hope, faith, and tangible love. Sometimes what you're waiting for doesn't come when you want, comes in God's perfect timing. Not before, not after. If today you're waiting for an answer, if you feel like your prayers are not being heard, remember Valeria. Remember that even though your eyes can't see it yet, God is already working on your miracle. Every night, before going to sleep, Valeria would write a single word in her notebook. Thank you. She didn't thank because everything was perfect. She didn't thank because she had no problems. She thanked because she had learned that faith is not the absence of difficulties, but the certainty that God walks with you through them. The days kept passing, and the store not only thrived, it transformed into a refuge. a place where every person who entered, regardless of their story, found more than just goods. They found hope, and it all started with a simple act of faith, an act of love sown in the fertile soil of trust in God. So it is with your life. Each prayer, each act of kindness, each tear offered with faith is germinating something wonderful even if you can't see it now. If you believe in the power of faith, subscribe now. Let's walk this beautiful path together. Valeria, standing at the door of her store, looked at the sky and understood something that would change her life forever. Everything comes in its time. Not before, so we don't waste it. Not after, so we don't despair. But right when we are ready to receive it. Today, you who are watching this story, it's no coincidence that you've come this far. Perhaps you've been sowing in silence. Perhaps you've cried prayers that no one else has seen. Perhaps you've believed even when it seemed impossible. I say this with all my heart. Don't give up. Don't let go of your faith. God is already writing your miracle, because the God who sees in secret is the same God who rewards in public. Have faith. Everything comes in its time. If the story touched your soul, subscribe now. Activate the bell so you don't miss any of these stories that remind us how deeply we are loved. Share this message with someone who needs to hear today. Have faith. Everything comes in its time. Thank you for believing.